Welcome into the channel. My name's Craig, and this, my friends, is where we put the spotlight onto German football. This is part 2 of our Matchday 24 Bundesliga action review show. We've got 4 games to cover today, and in those 4 games, we'll find out if Niko Kovac's yellow and black army, can Dortmund actually qualify for Europe next season? Will Leverkusen keep the pressure on Munich? And there's going to be a historic away win. But who is it and by what margin? All that, plus a roundup of the leading goal scorers, the assist makers, the clean sheets, and of course we'll have a look at the Bundesliga table for the end of Matchday 24. So, go and get yourself a drink, come back and get comfortable, and then together we can plough through Matchday 24 and all the action. What time is it? Bundesliga time! St. Pauli 0, Dortmund 2. 2 goals within 8 minutes secured a vital win for Niko Kovac to keep the Black and Yellow's European dream alive. And it's validation they are smooth with the counter-attack. In fact, 5 of their goals this season have come that way. Adeyemi made one for Girassi on the 58th and scored one on the 50th minute. Also, Adeyemi put in 2 crosses, 2 key passes, and had 6 shots of his own. Dortmund bombed the St. Pauli goal. They had 14 shots, 3 of those were on target, and actually they're averaging 13.7 shots per game. The St. Pauli centre-back pairing of Van der Heide and Hulk Wow, that's a superhero name, isn't it? Soaked up 4 tackles, 4 interceptions, made 10 clearances, and 3 block shots between them. It was another clean sheet for Dortmund. In fact, that's Kobel's 5th of the season, and the 2nd of which has been racked up on the road. He was backed up by Emre Can. The captain made 4 successful tackles and 1 interception today. Another shout out needs to go for Bensebaini, who contributed with 8 clearances. St. Pauli, they played for set pieces. They had 7 corners, 2, but just didn't make any of them count. In fact, they only managed 1 shot on target in the whole game. Elias Saad, he was wasteful. He lost the ball on 5 different occasions, and it was a rare, tough game for Jackson Irvine, the Socceroo captain. He gave away 2 fouls and made a big error. Eric Schmidt, or Smith, Smith will do, the Swede, he was my one to watch for St. Pauli. He clocked up 61 touches, completed 39 passes, and won 1 aerial duel. Didn't really contribute to the attacking moves, though. As for Dortmund, it was Austria's Marcel Sabitzer who was my one to watch. He had a shot. It's getting closer. Racked up 53 passes, 1 cross, and he won 1 aerial duel. Also put a shift in at the back to make sure that the Dortmund they went away with a clean sheet. He made 3 interceptions and was responsible for 4 clearances. Dortmund, they've now scored 8 in 2 games. That's a 2-game win streak, and they're 10th as it stands on 35 points, which is 3 points off, you've guessed it, Leipzig. With 12 games to play, could they do it? Could Niko Kovac actually manage to qualify for European football next season? We'll have to wait and see. For St. Pauli, though, that's 4 straight defeats, and that includes the last 2 home games. And they haven't actually won now in 6. They're in 15th with 21 points, which is vitally important because that's 4 clear of Bochum, who are currently in the relegation playoff spot. My prediction was a 1-0 Dortmund win away from home, which sadly is an L. The Topspiel game of Samstag absolutely lived up to its name. Leverkusen scored 3 goals in 7 blistering minutes to blow Eintracht Frankfurt away. First was from Nathan Teller. He's ex-Burnley, by the way. On the 26th minute. That was followed up by Nordi Mukiele from a set piece on the 29th. And then Patrick Schick, he scored on the 33rd minute. And that's his 16th goal of the season. And all that was capped off by Alexi Garcia on the 62nd minute. Now, Frankfurt, well, they've scored 8 times on the counter-attack this season, and that's exactly what they did with Hugo Ekitike on the 37th minute. And actually, at that point, it made it 3-1, and there could have been a spark of a revival. To be fair to Ekitike, he had a lot of work to do by getting round to Reki before slotting at home. He's actually the leading shot taker now in the Bundesliga this season with 81 shots. However, his conversion rate of goals to shots is 0.15, which puts him right down in 48th place on the scoring charts. Leverkusen, well, they created a high number of scoring chances. They had 20 shots, 9 of which were on target, and that's all relative to their dominance in possession, which was 60%. Frankfurt have now conceded 5 goals at home from set pieces, like with Nordi Mukiele, and 11 goals from open play. By the way, check out that Alexi Garcia rocket. Kevin Trapp had no chance. Actually, that's now 24 goals that Kevin Trapp's conceded this season. Mario Götze, he was my one to watch for Frankfurt. Sadly, he didn't really impact the game as much as my assigned legend status had implied. Yeah, he had 48 touches, lost the ball 5 times, made 32 passes and did get a crossing. That's to go with 4 tackles. Yeah, not really worthy of legend status in that game, I might add. For Leverkusen, we said to take a look at Jeremy Frimpong. He was playing as a right winger today. He made 1 interception, 1 clearance, made 29 passes and put in 1 cross. Frankfurt have now lost their last 2 games. They haven't won in 3, and the number of goals per game that they're conceding at home is currently at 1.58. That's alarming because Frankfurt, well, they finished 6th last season, and they've slipped down now into 9th on 36 points. Leverkusen's 15th win of the season, which is the 8th time they've scored 2 goals or more in a game, to open up the scoring, I should say, in a game. Well, all those came in the first half. They remain 8 points behind the leaders, Munich, and actually extends their unbeaten away streak to 29 games. Wow, just one more time. Leverkusen now have an unbeaten away streak of 29 games. Will it be enough to carry them over the line to retain the title? We'll have to wait and see. As for my prediction, I went for a 2-1 Leverkusen win and got it wildly wrong. It's another L. Union Berlin 0, Holstein Kiel 1. Yeah, that was the historic win that I was bigging up at the top of the show. Yeah, for Holstein Kiel, it's their first win away, not only of this season, but their first away win ever in the Bundesliga. Well done, Holstein Kiel. Kiel won it 1-0 on the 42nd minute with a goal from Arman Gigovic. That's his 4th goal of the season. To be fair, it was a tense game where neither team looked comfortable on the ball. The average pass streak for Union Berlin was 3, and there were lots of short passes too for the home side, just 238, which implied that nobody really wanted to take accountability and nobody wanted to make a mistake. Long balls, well, as is often the way for teams that are struggling with confidence and don't score many, long balls were the winner. There was 113 between the two sides. Union Berlin were poor at finishing, only 3 shots on target from their 14, and they committed a number of individual errors that ultimately proved costly. Credit to Max Knudsen for Kiel. He set the example in midfield. 11 clearances out of his team's whopping 68. Yes, Holstein Kiel came under the cosh late in the second half. Woo Yeong-jong was on my watch list for the home side. He was suffocated out of the game. He had 27 touches. He won one aerial duel, managed 2 shots. No further impact and was subbed off after 64 minutes. Shuto Machino, however, the Japanese striker for Kiel, well, he had 3 shots on goal, one of which was on target, contributed 3 key passes, pulled off 2 dribbles, and ended up on the winning team. Union Berlin have now lost 3 in a row. They're 14th in the table on 23 points. That makes them 2 clear of St. Pauli, but more importantly, 7 ahead of Bochum, who are in the relegation playoff spot. As for Kiel, again, congratulations to them for their away win. It's their second clean sheet as well this season away from home. They remain in 17th, although they are closing the gap on Bochum. It's now a point. It still feels likely they're going to go down. My prediction was this was going to be a 0-0 ball draw, and I got it wrong. Although I am pleased for Kiel because they've finally got that monkey off their back. Augsburg versus Freiburg was a 0-0 draw. Considering there were 17 goals in the previous 5 head-to-heads, I'm a little bit disappointed with 0-0 if I'm honest. And especially for Freiburg because they're pushing for a Champions League place. Augsburg struggled to keep the ball. Their 2 chances came from counter-attacks, but they were just not clinical enough. They did amass 13 shots. 5 of those were on target. But they are bottom of the table for goals from open play at home just before this season. And that's alongside Union Berlin and St. Pauli, both of which are struggling. Freiburg resorted to long shots, with 4 of those coming from open play. Interesting that they drew a blank though, because they're ranked 5th for teams with the most shots per goal away from home. 14.2 if you were interested. Dimitrios Giannoulis, well, he was on my watch list for Augsburg. He was playing as a left wing back today. He managed 2 shots, 2 key passes, and put in 6 crosses. That was going forward. As for his defensive work, well, again, he did put a shift in. He made 1 interception and 2 valuable clearances. Magic Merlin Roll. I'm never going to get tired of that one. Roll was my one to watch for Freiburg. He's a young man, 22. Still got a lot of time for him to develop his all-round game. He put in 1 shot on target, 2 mazy dribbles, 2 key passes, but ended up with a 6.7 match rating. Augsburg are now unbeaten in 8th. That's 4 clean sheets at home. And their points per game is 1.33. They sit in 11th, which is 6 points off Leipzig, which is currently a Conference League position. As for Freiburg, well, they're now on a 5-game unbeaten streak. That's only their 3rd 0-0 of the season, which is interesting. The keeper, Noah Atabulu, well, that's his 6th clean sheet away from home. 9 clean sheets in total for the season. Freiburg, though they have dropped down a place, they're now in 5th. Still a Europa League position, though. And still proving to be a top season for Freiburg. My prediction was a 1-0 win to Freiburg. And it's another L. So we've gone through all the action for match day 24. Let's just take a quick look at some of the key data, starting with the league goal scorers, or top goal scorers. Who've got the most goals, whatever you want to call it. Let's start there. Let's have a quick look. Leading the pack is England's leading international goal scorer, Harry Kane, with 21, although he didn't add to that tally in the 3-1 win over Stuttgart. Patrick Schick, well, he scored in Leverkusen's 4-1 demolition at Frankfurt, takes him on to 16. Omar Mamouche, he's Vamouche, so he doesn't count. Jonathan Burkhardt, yeah, he scored for Mainz in their 2-1 win over Leipzig. Girassi scored again, twice in 2 games. Well, I say twice, he scored 4 against Union Berlin. So 5 goals in 2 games for him. That was in a 2-0 win over St. Pauli away, sorry. And Tim Kleindis, he's still on 14. He didn't score, although he was part of a winning team. 3-0 win, Gladbach away to Crystal Palace. Of course, it's FC Heidenheim. A quiet game for Florian Wirtz, in that he didn't add to his tally of 10 assists, although his teammates did. In fact, one of his teammates there, Granit Xhaka, he's slowly climbing up this list on 7 assists. We won't talk about number 2. That's Amore. Yeah, Mohamed Amore. He laid on one of the Patrick Wimmer goals for Wolfsburg in their 2-1 away win at Werder Bremen. Marvin Dushk, no, he didn't get on the action, and his team lost 2-1 at home to Patrick Wimmer and Wolfsburg. And Michael Elise, he didn't produce an assist, although he did score in Bayern Munich's 3-1 away win at Stuttgart. So there you go. There's the assist makers. Florian Wirtz and Bayer Leverkusen leading the pack. Only one change in the clean sheet shortlist for this week, and that's Noah Atabulu. Yeah, he's the only one that added to his tally after a 0-0 away draw at Augsburg. Otherwise, it's as you were. And we round out our review of all the games for matchday 24 by taking a look at the table, the bottom half first. As you can see, the likes of Heidenheim, HOLSTEIN KIEL and Bochum, most they're in trouble. 15, 16 and 17 points respectively. There's a gap of, 4 between Bochum and St. Pauli. And then there's another 2-point gap between them and Union Berlin. So, it's Hoffenheim really that are looking over their shoulder and probably exhaled slightly after that 1-0 away win at Bochum. They're not out of the woods by any stretch though. I think Werder are safe. I wouldn't bet the ranch on it, and I certainly would bet against them trying to get into Europe. So I think the relegation scrap involves the bottom, anyone from 18 right up until 14. Yeah, so I'm going to say the relegation scrap is really on between Heidenheim, Kiel, Bochum, St. Pauli and Union Berlin. It's going to be a fascinating end to the season with 12 games to go. And again, we'll cover it all here on the German Football Spotlight channel. Let's have a look at the top half of the table now. As you can see, Bayern are 8 points ahead to Leverkusen, and it's been that way for quite a few games. Frankfurt, despite losing their last 2, are holding their position in 3rd, which is a Champions League spot. Mainz, with their impressive run of 3 straight wins, they're into 4th, which is the last Champions League spot. Freiburg, it was a 0-0 draw away to Augsburg, but that still keeps them in the hunt for a Europa League place. And Leipzig seem to be clinging on to 6 with 38 points. It's up for grabs though. Wolfsburg are putting a tidy run together. Gladbach have got goals in them, especially with Mr. Tim Kleindis up front. So again, with 12 games to go, the race for Europe is very much on. The question remains though, what can Leverkusen do to catch up to Munich? Or is it a case of Leverkusen just need to focus on winning and just hope that somewhere along the line Munich slip up? Again, we'll cover all the games between now and the end of the season here on the German Football Spotlight channel. And that's a wrap for Matchday 24. If you made it this far in the video, please know that I'm extremely grateful. A like, by the way, would be brilliant because it would help boost the channel. Feel free to leave your comments and your corrections because, again, I'm only human, down in the comment section below. And if you could find it in your heart to subscribe, not only would that be wonderbar, but it would enable you to be plugged into when the next episode's coming out. And on that note, we've got a preview for all the games in match day 25 coming real soon. So all that remains to be said is, I've been Craig, and this, my friends, this is where we've been putting the spotlight onto German football. Repeat after me. Auf Wiedersehen.